How's it going, guys? So today we're going to be talking about Polaris Axys maintenance, specifically pre-season. First up on the list is Chaincase oil service. So obviously this does not apply to quick drive belt owners, but if you have a Chaincase on your like a 3-inch track or an older generation pro ride chassis, you're going to want to change that oil in the Chaincase every 500 miles. In the manual it does say the first 500 miles and then after that 2,000 miles. Now it's important to do this because it's essentially the same thing as changing the oil in your car's engine at every interval is changing that oil in your Chaincase, because it does start to wear out and lose all those different properties in the oil, so it just starts to break down over time. I'm a little more particular about things, so I do it every 500 miles on mine. It's just cheap insurance. If you don't know how to change the Chaincase oil in your Axys, then I'll link a video right here where I show you how to. All right, next up on the list is going to be clutches. You're going to want to have them checked by a dealer or someone that really knows what they're doing with snowmobile clutches, specifically obviously the Axys chassis. And by that I mean having them gone through and making sure the weight bushings are not worn out, having those replaced, having weights replaced if need be. I don't see why they would need to be, but having them basically tuned up, ready for a new season, and also having the belt deflection checked, as well as alignment, things like that. Just having, if you take it to a dealer, they should be able to set it up correctly for you, or someone that really knows how to work on those clutches, doing it properly. Next, you're going to want to check your track, make sure that it's aligned as well as properly tightened. Now check your manual for those specifics. Now you can see right here that I made a mark on the rail to mark exactly where I need to measure it each time that I check the track tension. Next up, number 4, you're going to want to check all the nuts and bolts on your sled just to make sure none of them are loose or anything like that. Don't try to over tighten them, just making sure that they're not loose. Number 5, you're going to want to lube the entire chassis. That includes all the Zerk fittings on your rear suspension, just hitting all the Zerk fittings in your rear suspension with a grease gun, and then also taking apart your front suspension and just lubing up the front air and bushings. This next one, I would definitely recommend having a shop that is capable of doing it, and that is servicing the front and rear shocks. Now, the reason I say having a shop do it is you want to have them replace the fluid, and if necessary, replace the seals. They have to take everything apart to replace the fluid anyway, so it's just an extra insurance to have them just replace the seals anyway. I believe it's an extra 10 to 15, maybe 20 bucks per seal to do that, so it's worth it to do it while it's all apart, rather than being halfway through the season and a seal blows out and you have to have them completely rebuild the shock, just because and you lose a day or probably a couple days of riding because of it. Also, you're going to want to check your high faxes. That's where your track runs along the bottom of your rear track, just to make sure that that's not worn out or anything like that. If it's getting pretty close to being worn out, then just go ahead and replace it. I would take the entire suspension apart and replace those high faxes, grease all the fittings up and everything, and also at that time have your rear shocks serviced too. You're definitely going to want to check your coolant level just to make sure that it's at the proper height. Also check your battery if your sled is equipped with a battery. Now what you should be doing at the end of the season is putting your battery on a battery tender for the entire summer to keep it at the proper level. If you don't, then put it on a battery slow charger just to bring it back up to the normal level. And then if it doesn't come back, then you're definitely going to need to replace it. If there's any old gas in the tank, I would suggest just siphoning it out and then putting brand new gas in and letting it run for about 5 to 10 minutes just to get all brand new gas in the system. And once you've done that, then go ahead and replace the spark plugs just to get new ones in there for preventative maintenance.